Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Reading in the Red this freezing morning. It is absolutely cold out there, but the sun is shining, so it's nice and bright. Reading in the Red, Mark chapter 4 and verse 28. The soil produces crops by itself. First the stalk, then the head, and then the mature grain. So first of all of this happenings under the ground that can't be seen is the process of germination. And those roots going down into the soil of our heart is happening not by sight. It's happening unawares. We don't know what's going on, but the weeds are being pushed aside as these roots go down into the soil in order to be able to take hold of the new life that's coming. And then you get the stalk that pops out of the ground, and that's the first sign of life. And that's the beginning of the new changes that take place in who we are. And suddenly we find ourselves catching ourselves doing things that historically we wouldn't have done. Something happens to us and we respond, but it's not the same way that we would have responded in the past. And it surprises us as we look and we think, that was interesting. Why didn't I do this? Normally I would do this, but I didn't. I'd done that. Why was that? And then once the stalk comes up and we're kind of like in amazement as we watch this thing grow, then it produces a head. And the head really is the beginning of the expression of not just a discipline of change, but an actual change in the nature character of an individual. So you get the head is seen and people start to see it as well. And it's held by the stalk that's producing moisture and nutrients from the roots that are not seen. And all of a sudden this development of a new beginning happens and it's being seen by others. And then in time, there's a reproduction of the seed in the head. And so there's this new beginning of new beginnings. And then this new seed that produces potential that just develops and matures, and then the whole process and others around. And it's this sense of new beginnings and changes. And it's not like we're forcing it to happen, but it's a natural thing for us to be kind when we weren't kind, and compassionate when we weren't compassionate, and honest when we weren't honest, and trustworthy when we weren't trustworthy. We're not struggling and striving to be trustworthy, to be honest, to be kind, to be merciful, but it's naturally growing out of us. And we're wondering, where did this come from? And it came from the new seed that was sown in us, that went down into the soil, that produced a stalk, that produced a head, that is producing fruit. And this multiplication of God's kingdom is growing in us in precious ways. And it's all so simple. All we have to do is allow God to bring about this newness of character in us. The old is gone and the new has come. And the old is gone and the new is coming. Brothers and sisters, let God be the one that brings about change in you. Thank you for joining me. Be blessed. Have a great afternoon and I'll see you tomorrow.